noticed that she trusts me and she loved me. She kept coming back. And I was like, you shouldn't. I even was one time, you need to find better price. She was like, everybody does it. Actually, you are the only one that really cares about finding a solution.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk, where we feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Ari Sanchez, who is a double board certified nurse practitioner with over 13 years of experience. She owns and operates Soul Glow Med Spa in Farmers Branch, Texas, where she specializes in treatments like sculptrofacial balancing, Botox, and laser rejuvenation. Ari is passionate about making people feel their best and enhancing their confidence. She focuses on bringing out her clients' inner glow with natural and beautiful results. So Ari, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here too, Daniel.
Yeah, so how did you first get interested in aesthetics, Ari?
Aesthetics, and my background is actually, not only aesthetics, it was intensive care. I used to be intensive care in the ICU, and I used to see people in their worst moments. When you are in the ICU, that means that you are not in good shape. It was my passion. I really love it. But I started realizing that I like to see people happy. I like that when they are not in the worst moment. So aesthetics start coming. They have to tell. I have an auntie that she owns a med spa in South Florida, and I start getting a little bit more related to aesthetics, and it was beautiful. I love that people, like, their confidence just build up. They felt good about themselves. It is not because they were in the worst moment. So I really love it. And so everything started there. And the passion started building up when I actually started injecting patients. It was just seeing them happy coming back in their 14 days, and they're like, their confidence are so built up. They're happy about it. They're good with themselves. So that's what I will say, that everything started there. I was like, yes, this is what I was born for.
So it's a lot happier industry than working in the ICU.
Definitely. You do meet people that they may don't going through the best. They're going through a divorce, or they just, like, they're depression, and they just want to have a little bit like pick up myself. So, but it is not like the ICU. Sometimes it is life or death. Definitely in aesthetics, we are not in the death time. We may feel, but we are not in the death bed. Yeah. So yes, definitely, I love that part.
Okay. And how did you make that transition from working in the ICU to now starting up Soul Glow Aesthetics?
So before it was, I was both at the same time. Then 2020 hit. I was spending more time in the ICU. As you know, it was a pandemic time. And definitely I was like, this is my time that I needed to transition completely to aesthetics. I was like, I saw a lot of people die, and it is not strange, death in the ICU, but it kind of take a toll emotionally. I was saying myself, it did. So I was like, you know what? It's time to go for my dream. So I moved to Dallas, Texas. I'm originally from South Florida. And, I was like, you know what? Let me start working in, just a med spa. And my husband was like, it's time for you to have your own. It is no more working for somebody else. So Soul Glow came up. And it has been a blessing, hard work, a lot of hard work, but that is how it was a transition. Dallas, Texas was my biggest, I think, like, you got to go for. And yes, my husband, and that he was my business partner down there, he was like, we're going to do it. And I'm glad that he did it, because it's always scary to start your business. And sometimes you need that person to, like, it's time. And I'm glad that he did it, because I don't regret it, that decision.
Okay. That's amazing then, that you're able to make that transition, and now you have this successful practice. Now,
Thank you.
In introduction, we mentioned treatments like sculptrofacial balancing, Botox, laser rejuvenation. Could you talk a little bit more about some of those treatments, and why do you think that they're so popular? Like, why are patients looking for these types of treatments?
So a lot of this patient, I always so glow come out because, as I say, being in the industry for a little bit, I realized people are switching. People don't want to look what we call fake. They want to look more natural, but they want to be enhancing. I call soul glow because I want the inner glow. It is, we have to start inside of ourselves. That is why I do my Monday motivations every Monday. I post in our Facebook and on Instagram because of that reason. Everything starts within ourselves. I can make you pretty, you can look amazing, but it's inside of you. You don't feel like that. It doesn't matter what I do to you. So I start with that. We gotta start with our inner glow. And a lot of people, they're pushing away fillers. That I completely agree with them. I like that it still be you, but enhance yourself. I want you to feel confident about yourself, but I don't want you to be looking weird. Um, so I think that, Botox can help with that. Is you have a practitioner that really know what they're doing and they're certified and they know anatomy. You should don't be looking weird. You should be safe doing this treatment. I love Sculptra. Sculptra is one of my best friends, I call it, because it gives me that natural, that enhancing looking of the person without looking fake, without looking that have too much filler on it. So aging process is beautiful, believe it or not. I believe that it's beautiful is we take care of ourselves. If we start young and taking care of ourselves using the right creams, we can start baby Botox. You should don't need that much through the years. It is the opposite. People thinking that start early, it is bad. I completely disagree in that point. If you start younger, you need less through your aging process. So
Yep.
if you start older, you look weird because you need more.
So you're basically setting the foundation. If you just do a little bit when you're younger, then it's a little bit less, I'll call it work, a little bit less work as you kind of get older. You're not just hitting it all at one time at the end.
Yes, and like for example, I have patients that they're pretty young. I don't go full blood Botox on them. I do believe in baby Botox. Some practitioners they don't. I do believe because I have my medical students. They already have wrinkle, like what we call crowfit, around the eyes. And if we don't treat that, but when they hit 30, it's gonna be bad. They're gonna have a static wrinkle, what we call there, like right there without any movement. It is hard to remove those. So then you need more Botox, then you need to do laser, then it increase why you need more in the long run because you are waiting. I put baby Botox few units around, it relax that muscle. They don't need that much. They don't even need to be doing laser or anything like that. Just keep a good skincare, keep their tiny little units of Botox, and they will be fine. It's everything about not to try to put a lie in your body. I always believe less is better. And maybe some people in this industry will don't agree with me, but I always believe less is better. So, but it's everything about prevention. Is we prevent that they become static, that they become right there without any movement. Yes, you're gonna need a lot. Yes, you may look tiny weird. So I believe everything about educating our clients. So I do believe it's starting early, not too early. I'm not saying 18 years old.
Yeah.
But yes, I do believe that when we start having those wrinkles with movement, we should take care of that.
Okay. And I think you bring up a very good point when it comes to the prevention part of it. Because I think when people think about aesthetics, many people think about, oh, just make me look younger, make me look younger. But they don't think about, okay, what can I do right now to prevent aging or at least the rapid visual part of aging? What can I do now to prevent that? So in the long term, I can maintain my beauty for longer.
I completely agree with you, Daniel. Like I'm a person, I don't like to wear that much makeup. I have a very busy life. I wake up in the morning, I have a 2-year-old baby. So I have to get him ready, get myself ready, come to the spa. So being honest, I had never picked on makeup. I love the ladies, they do wonderful transformations with the makeup. And I'm like, wow to myself what they do with makeup. But I am definitely not one of those. So I like to keep a good skincare regimen. Just go from there. Like even right now, I don't have makeup. I only have my skincare, my SPF, eye finish, and that's it. Go with my day. My clients know that. What you see online, that's what you're gonna see me here. I only wear makeup when I have to do pictures, professional. I have to do an event. But otherwise, you will see me like this. In order to have a skin like that, you need to be preventive. You need to be, on top of your skincare. I keep up my Botox, but I always very big in skincare. Trying to do those things, try to have a good nutrition that will get there. A lot of people in my field, they're very big about, like we need to do these treatments, we need to do now. In Soul Glow, we are about inner glow. And I do believe in preventive because I believe when you are preventive, you are not looking weird 40. If you come at 60 years old with me, you're going to have a lot of wrinkles. So you do going to need a lot of Botox to take care of that wrinkle if you want to look younger. And it is going to be also more expensive if we don't prevent. If we prevent, in the long run, it's going to be cheaper.
Got it. Now, we kind of talked about these different concepts of prevention. You mentioned nutrition also. So could you talk a little bit more about your approach to how you educate your patients on the benefits and really just the treatments in general? Like prevention was one. You kind of mentioned nutrition. Like what else do you put into that as far as the entire education goes when you talk to a patient?
When I talk to my patients, I start, especially my consultations it is one of the most important moments in, I will say in the journey of any of my patients. Why? Because in consultation, I do take time. My consultations are 1 hour. And I explain and starting what is Botox. A lot of people, they don't know what is Botox. They just think that every single botulinum toxin that we have, it is Botox. Yeah, Botox is a brand, but we have 6 other type of botulinum toxin or neuromodulators, how we call it. And I start how they work, what they do. That is very, very important for me to educate them in that part. And then prevention wise, it is like, are you hydrating yourself? We are in Dallas, Texas. Summer can be brutal here. So if we are not hydrating ourselves, our skin dried up. Not only is good for our system when it comes to our kidneys, when it comes to, to our cardiovascular system, but it's also about our skin. A lot of times we don't take care of our skin. So if we don't hydrate ourselves, that is a very important. We are not going to. What kind of multivitamins are we taking? It has been proven scientific that zinc will help you to prolong your Botox. So what are we taking care of ourselves? What kind of vitamins, what kind of electrolytes are we taking? So we also had a clinic that we take care, we do IV hydration too and therapy. So we also use a lot of peptides. I want to know a person as a whole and what we can do to prevent aging. Sometimes it's not only about doing a Botox, but sometimes it could be a peptide that it could help you also to prevent that. We want to take care of your weight. It is everything about holistic. I like to more holistic approach to my clients and really know what what is hurting, what is that hurting point, because sometimes they start with a wrinkle, but in reality it could be that they're not hydrating themselves, it could be that they're not using enough SPF. It also could be a mental health is very important. I believe that we sometimes remove, but in aesthetics, in beauty, we also have to take care of our mental health. And sometimes people think that I'm crazy, but I truly believe is we are not okay mentally, we are never going to be outside. A lot of the time it is because we are not taking enough salt or vitamin D is low and we get depressed. If we get depressed, we don't want to take care of ourselves. We don't want to put that SPF. We are not hydrated. We are in a bed. So I try to approach everybody as a holistic because sometimes simple things like that, it can change an entire world. I love seeing my patients and their follow-up and they look beautiful, flawless. I just had a patient and she come hair beautiful. She looks amazing. Her glasses on, and I was like, oh my goodness. I just love see the transformation, and it just took us to get her start taking care of herself and doing her prevention and doing all her, her skincare because she was depressed and she didn't want to do it. She just fell down. So I believe if we approach as a holistic and a lot of not just like, okay, I'm gonna put Botox right there, right here, and we can achieve more. So that is what prevention and knowing my patient as a whole, and whole thing, not just like, for why you came here, it will help them, and it builds like long-term relationship.
Got it. Now, you did mention peptides, and I want to talk about kind of these new and emerging treatments that are coming into the aesthetic space. So for people that don't know what peptides are, could you explain what is a peptide and why do you think it is helpful in the aesthetic side?
So peptides, the easiest way, and I'm not going to use any scientific, medical term, it is more like we most of these peptides we already creating ourselves. We have this protein, this peptide in our own body. And what we are doing, we are lacking. I always explain my clients when we have collagen, we create collagen, but through the aging process and well, as we age, we are not producing them as we should. So what we are doing as a pharmacist, we are creating these peptides that already our body have, but maybe are lacking of. So we are getting the right amount to our bodies. Some of them, yes, they do create in pharmacies, but most of them we already have in our body, but the amount that we have, it is not enough to give us the effect that we need in our body.
Got it. So pretty much what it is, it's rebalancing what your body needs. And if you're deficient in something, then this is adding it back in and getting to that more natural, holistic state that kind of you were talking about.
You explain it better than me.
Okay, well, perfect then, Ari. So yeah, the next thing I want to go over, I want to ask you about is really what differentiates your practice from others in the industry. I think part of it is your approach, like how you educate your patients. You're looking at it a little bit more holistically. But is there anything else that you'd like to explain about what is different about your approach?
And the difference about my approach that I have realized is that I don't know, it's because I'm a medical provider. As an MP, I don't look only just aesthetic. I look my patient as a whole. And most of the aesthetic practice and what I have seen in my experience, you came here, what we can fix, how we can make you prettier. Okay. And even I like to use prettier because I believe everybody is beautiful in their own way. And we just need to like maybe enhance it. And other practices say, okay, this is not good. Let's make it better. And I always believe you are good. You are perfect the way that you are. Let's enhancing you. Let's make you better. And I see people as a whole. You don't come here just for that wrinkle that you had there. As I say, maybe something else is also making that wrinkle deeper. They need to understand. I educate a lot of my clients. I believe my closing rate consultations are 99. I don't want to say 100 because maybe look a little bit, but I close a lot of my consultations and they become my clients is because I really care about them and I educate them. It's something I can tell to anybody that is in this industry. We're lacking of education to our clients. Our clients don't know how many units they're getting. They don't even know what type of botulinum toxin we are using on them. They don't know what kind of skin. They come for Botox and they don't even know what other things they can do to help, to remove that wrinkle, to help to, in the aging process. So Soul Glow is different to other practice because we don't see you as only one patient. We see you as a whole. And I think that is what makes different. That is what makes people that they trust me. They build the trust in that 1 hour with me because they know that I don't look them just have, like a person that had that 11s I want to remove. I don't, that person that have that 11s, what is causing that 11? It is just movement, that we have depression, that we are not just taking care of ourselves. We don't have the knowledge. And I always say, Jordan is my husband and also my business partner. I always tell him, I think that I break a lot of virginity when it comes to neurotoxin. It's just because I educate them. They trust me. They build that trust because I really, really explain everything that I'm doing. I tell, are you ready? This is 1 hour that I'm not going to stop talking. You may don't remember half the things, but you're going to have knowledge. Even if you don't get an injection, even if you don't do any treatment, I know that you're going to live with knowledge. And I was saying that is the main purpose I'm audited after a consultation. I'm thankful to God because I do close them and they, we start trimming on them. In the business side, that makes me happy. But as a human being, as a provider, my main thing it is that they gain knowledge. So I think that that's the difference of law. We do want to make sure that the patient knows everything that we are doing to them. The reason, the main thing it is why we are doing those treatments to them.
Got it. Now, Ari, I'm sure that throughout your experience, you've gotten a lot of people coming in your doors, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of misconceptions about the treatments you provide. Maybe they think it's supposed to be one way when that's just false. I'm sure there's many myths that people come in with that they believe that's just not true. What are some common misconceptions that you hear a lot from your patients?
And one of the biggest misconception it is that client thinks that they gonna have like Botox right now and they're gonna see it right there. Oh, they come and they feel that, oh, this is just like you're gonna do this and this and in a week are gonna be ready for a wedding. No, a lot of the client thinks that the treatment is gonna be right away. Yes, we do some, we have a radio frequency machine, you're going to have immediate effect, but the actual effect, it will take up to 6 months to see the max, the final result. So a lot of people, they have the misconception that I'm going to do Botox and I'm going to have fast results. It really doesn't work like that. Another misconception that people have is that they think that you do only one time Botox and that's it. Okay, like I don't have to do this no more. Okay, I'm doing a treatment. And I think it's because people don't understand the aging process. I always explain to them, is we don't age and we just stay like this young. Yes, you do it one time and it's gonna stay there. No problem. But the problem is that we are aging. And that's why it's very important what I talked today about prevention, what we can do to keep ourselves healthy so this treatment lasts you longer. So that's my biggest thing is that they think that the treatment is just one time and done, and they also don't understand what really Botox do. Botox help with wrinkles, but wrinkles are with movement. They think that maybe my nasal labials. No, that is loss of volume, and I always explain them like the Great Canyon in Arizona. There's a big hole down there, so we just don't like relax it. You have to fill it up in order to like close it, right? Yeah. So yes, that's conversation about the time and how many times I have to do a treatment.
Got it. Now, Ari, I'm curious as far as, because you have the background in working in the ICU and then now on the aesthetic side, what role do you believe creativity plays in how you approach your patient care? Because before in the ICU, I'm sure it was very much you had this process. You have to do, if someone is coming in with this type of injury or a life-threatening situation, you have to follow this step. But on the aesthetic side, there's a lot more artistry that goes into it. So how much artistry versus the process do you believe is now on the aesthetic side?
Being honest with you, I believe almost by 99%. Yes, you have to have, yes, it's very high. Yeah. Well, 90%. I say 99. Why? Because 10% was a technique. You need to have experience. You need to know what you're doing. That is very, very important. In my life, I do say 90% it is art because maybe my background is so technical when it comes to, anatomy, when it comes to, the injections. I become an injector, but it was not from 20. I have been taking a lot of courses. If you look, all my diplomas and titles, I have over 50 using aesthetics. I have, in aesthetics, almost like 250,000 in, in courses and things that I had taken. Every single year, I go a lot of conventions. I take courses. It doesn't matter how many years experience I have. I always believe you have to keep up. Okay, you always can learn from somebody. Like actually in September now, I'm coming. Dr. Azul from London is coming to Miami, so I'm going to be there. I always try to learn new technique. So yes, I say 10%, but when I want every provider or any person that is new to the aesthetics world, it doesn't take only one course to be, a provider that can provide art. It takes a lot of knowledge to get there. And that is one of the biggest tips that I could give to anybody that is starting this business. You have to continue educating yourself. So 10%, I don't want that you look like something little. For me, something very important and small. But that 10% is what gives me the 90% of art. When you have the knowledge, you can build that art. It is very important art because when you look somebody, everybody's unique. I always look like that. I'm passionate about this because everybody's so unique. The ratios that I need to use on you to do a facial balance is not the same ratios that I need to use to my next client. Everybody has different race. We are in the United States, so we have a lot of race. We have a lot of cultures, and we also have to be aware of that. because when one culture, maybe it's like take care of somebody from Turkey, they want like really fine jawline. They want to, it looks, like etiquette pleasing, that everything is perfect when it came to ratios. But somebody maybe from Africa would love to be a little bit more soft. So you always have to be conscious about your client and know what they really want, and then create that art. You have to, I think that comes as a person. So yes, I will say 90%. Some people say 50 and 50. I say 90%, but 90% that is built with that 10%. And as a person, I laugh because a lot of my clients, even when I'm doing Botox, I will be looking at you and I will go back and forth, making sure that it's equal, even the point follow. And they say, you're doing your art. And I laugh. I laugh because in reality, yes, I'm doing my art. And it is not about only points. It's about like, what is it right for this client? What their movement, and you go around, and I love it. I have clients that they say, I have been going this surgeon for over 15 years, and they just kind of remove the little wrinkle on top of my eyebrows. And for me, it is very fascinating because not only this client, I have few clients that had told me the same thing. I'm the only one who remove it without dropping the eyebrow. And I say, maybe it's art, maybe it's the knowledge that I have, but I do know how to remove that. And I wouldn't tell all about technicality. It is also about what I see in a person. So art comes from all kind of work. My mom is very artistic. I never called myself an artist until I started aesthetics, and people have been calling me that. That is when I like, okay, maybe I'm an artist too. And maybe I had that creativity that I don't think that I was thinking I was more like more like rigid, but I realized aesthetic opened up that creativity on me. And I love it. I love see everybody feel happy, find their beauty, and just seeing them grow, feeling they have more confidence. That is what fill me up. Seeing they have more confidence about themselves and go on with their life.
I think that's probably the highest compliment that they can give to you, that you're a true artist. Now, all
Thank
right,
you.
I'm sure that you've had some really tough cases come across your door over the years. So, is there one story that really stands out in mind for you of someone that came in, had a really tough case, and how you were able to get them a great result at the end of it?
Um, Actually, I do. And I'm gonna say name. Actually, she's still my client. That is amazing. This client, and this is what I always say. It doesn't matter what technique you know, how many courses you go. It is something probably simple for somebody else, but it doesn't matter what kind of technique I use with her. It doesn't matter if I'm very specific on anatomy. I just keep sharpening the in, and she keeps saying everybody does it to me. I was like, it is impossible. I'm doing the right. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. I even took it and bring it to the association. I'm not going to pronounce, but I believe everybody should be associated with some type of aesthetic association and affiliation. It's very, very important. Okay, so I did bring in, actually, I will say that I bring it to the American Association for Aesthetic Procedures. I'm, affiliated. That is one of the many that I am. I was like, I don't understand this. What I'm doing wrong, what I should be doing better. They don't understand it either because I was having the right depth, the anatomy. I made pictures, video for her, and I couldn't understand. And she loved me. The best part about it is that she trusts me and she loved me. She kept coming back, and I was like, you shouldn't. I even was one time, you need to find better price. She was like, everybody does it. Actually, you are the only one that really cares about finding a solution to it. I was very impressed because this lady had been, like seeing multiple providers through her, lifetime. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find it. I just, with the help of the Procedure Association of America, it really helped me. And, plus doing a little bit art and some tweak, and we got it right. Now she's super happy. Now we know exactly what we need to do. But it was hard because we don't understand. That's what I say sometimes about art, because we did everything right, anatomical right, technique wise was right, but we still don't get it right for the patient. So that was a little bit frustrating for me. It may sound for other people, but for me it was frustrating because it was the right technique, the right, point that we needed to do it. And, things sometimes don't go as a plan. But that was a little bit tough for me when it comes to that part. Other tough have been saying no to clients. I think that everybody sometimes is scared to say no to the client. Like, you need to understand who you are as a provider. We are in the beauty industry, but we also have to be not only safe, but we also have to be true to ourselves. Soul Glow is about inner glow. And when I say inner glow, I like to see transformation, but I will not change. It's when I believe that you have enough of filler or enough of Botox, I'm not scared to tell you no. I'm very good talking to my, and they know that I would never raise my voice, so I always listen, but I will say no. And that's a tough one because as a business, yes, you want that money, but you also need to see that your integrity is the most important thing that you can keep. And I will say to any provider that is that you have to be firm with your no. Some people, they don't feel it is addictive. It is addicted to look good. So mental health is big, but you have to stand up to yourself and to your truth. And saying no, it is one of the hardest, I will say. Say no to your client, especially when you have built a rapport with them. You have to learn to say no without losing them as a client, but also it is not for their well-being, but also for your integrity.
I think if you bring up some really good points in there, Ari. Number one, it's not being afraid to ask for help. And also in some situations, showing that vulnerability to your clients, be like, hey, I'm not sure about this, but let me go find you the answer versus just, oh yeah, I know how to do this when you really don't know. So I think that's a really good, like vulnerable point that you bring up, that it actually builds more trust when you show you're a little bit more vulnerable, but you're going to find the answer for them. And also saying no, it's, you have to look at them as, I mean, you're the consultant to them. You're like, you're the expert. And so in some situations, you just have to tell them, no, like, I don't believe that this is going to help you more. So I think you bring up some really, really good points in there. Now, Ari, I'm curious, what is your long-term vision for Soul Glow Aesthetics?
Soul Glow Aesthetic, Madam, I want that Soul Glow growth. Soul Glow is not going to be, hopefully by the end of the year, we have another, another location. And so we definitely are growing. We're definitely going to have multiple locations here at the DFW. That is our main thing. But we also want to have locations in other states. I would love to have one in South Florida, at least where I'm from. Definitely, I would love that. It's very hard to start a business when you don't know anybody, but it's also give you a bigger gratification when you get, where we are, and we're still growing. It is so much to grow, so much to learn, but definitely I would love to be, one close home, one maybe in Pennsylvania, everywhere. I believe the sky is the limit. And as we look the sky, I mean, the space is the limit. I believe if God make you dream it, that means that you can achieve it. It is only how willing you are to do that hard work. That is what I believe. Everything is hard work. Yes, you can find smart ways to do things. We have AI, we have this thing, but you need to take the time. And I always believe if you're willing to do it, you will get there, because if God make you dream it, you can achieve it.
Awesome. Well, Ari, I have one last question for you. Before I ask it, I want to point people to your website at soulglowmedspa.com.
Yes, we are right now. We are in a chain, and that we are going to be, we are chaining our website with everything that we are growing. Definitely in 2 weeks is going to be there. Still can go to soulglowaesthetics.com, but we are switching to soulglowmedspa.com. If they have any questions, they can always follow us at in Instagram at soulglow.medspa. They will find you there. They can download our app. We are giving $50 to everybody to download our app. They can use in any of our service. So that would be like a pro to download our app. We have perks there for everybody to download it. And also we have discounts and promotion that we don't put nowhere else, only in our app.
Okay, awesome. Well, people can go there and download that app then. So then, Ari, last question is, what is the most important piece of advice you can give to someone who's thinking about getting some type of aesthetic treatment done, but isn't sure which provider to choose?
Definitely a very important one, and the one that I see a lot at the DFW area. Make sure that your provider had the right credentials. Your face, it is who represent you. For me, it is every client that I see walking, I always tell them, yes, it is your face, but you're representing me. You're representing yourself, but you're also representing me. So always make sure that your provider had the right credentials. It's very important. I'm saying that some estheticians, they are not good. I believe that it is amazing as injectors of their estheticians, but always make sure that they have the right credentials. It is a lot of scams out there. People are injecting things that they are not FDA approved, and we are in the United States. We do have to be, FDA approved. And the reason is because if anything happened to you, how that provider can come back. If something is coming from outside the country or places that they are not, how that can provider take care of you if anything wrong happened to you? Who the provider will claim what happened? So definitely the provider that had the right credentials, very, very, very important for me. And I tell that to the clients. Cheaper doesn't mean safer. That is a bigger one. Cheaper doesn't mean safe. So make sure that you go to a place that it is safe, that people have the right credentials, and they're using the right products.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ari, thank you for sharing your expertise. Thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for sharing your message.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for presenting. It has been great. I had an amazing time.
Awesome. Me too.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.